Hi, my name is Monica Yearwood and I am the founder of Hamza Ayurveda and Yoga in Chicago. And today I'm going to share some very powerful insights with you that can radically change your life. So I've acquired this information over 15 years of practice working with people to help them change their lifestyle. So if you are suffering from an illness, a disease, or an imbalance that you know, if you were able to sustain changes in your lifestyle, like your diet, your behaviors, patterns, mindset, exercise, etc., and yet for reasons you don't totally understand, you cannot seem to stick with these changes in your lifestyle, even though there are grave consequences, then this information is for you. So before we get into it, I just want to quickly remind you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you haven't already, just click the button below and subscribe. That's a huge support for me to be able to provide this content to you on a regular basis. Okay, so that takes us to the first shift that needs to be addressed, which is the expectations that we set for ourselves. It's okay to have high standards for yourself, but if you have ever committed to a detox program, a weight loss program, a dietary program, and then once you start to get into it, you find it difficult to stick with it, or maybe you have one slip up and so you react to that by like throwing the whole thing away and going on a 180 binge, or maybe your lifestyle practices slowly trickle back in, and you rationalize to yourself that, you know, at the end of the weekend, at the end of the summer, when work settles down, when you're done with the move, whatever X, Y, and Z it is, fill in the blank, that then you're really going to get started. But in the meantime, you're just going to eat whatever you want, and you get into that cycle. I've had clients be in that cycle for 10, 20 years, if not longer. So the way to get out of that cycle is you can have that standard for yourself that, you know, you want to be at a certain weight, that you want the certain, you know, lifestyle that you're striving for, but the expectations for yourself need to be put into perspective. It is not necessarily rational to think that you're going to lose, you know, 10 pounds in a month if you don't have, you know, certain dietary things in place already. And, you know, the thing is with people that struggle with this over and over and over again, if you look back at things in hindsight, if you would have set, you know, a more realistic expectation for yourself from the beginning, you would have garnered a lot more success in a shorter period of time. So if it was 2 pounds a month, 2 to 4 pounds a month, you know, that's 24 to 48 pounds in a year. But what happens when you're constantly on this binge purge cycle, essentially, of being very restricted and being very excessive, is that you don't get any result, you know, and you just feel bad about yourself. So to gain more realistic expectations, it's okay for you to try the intense diet or the intense program. That's okay. But when you don't stick with it, instead of throwing the towel in and telling yourself you're a failure, you lack willpower, is to look at this just as information, you know? So it's not about failure. It's not about doing it 100%, you know? What is this telling me? And take the emotionality out of it, take the guilt and the failure out of it. You're not a failure, you're a human being, okay? It's not, and this isn't easy work. These things are deeply entrenched in who we are, and it starts from childhood. So to change it is not an easy task. So don't feel guilty about it. It's not about failing and guilt. It's about looking at this rationally, logically. Okay, maybe the gym was out of my way. Okay, you know, maybe I don't like that diet because I'm isolated all the time. Okay, you know, what is working for you? What is not? Augmenting it. And, you know, maybe that was just too much for me to think that I could wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning every day for 40 days in a row and do this meditation technique for 2 hours, you know, whatever it is, and then scale it back and get yourself to a place where it's consistent success. So maybe consistent success is, you know, not eating snacks, not mindlessly snacking. Maybe that's just the one thing that you need to change. And then it's like, once you get a hold of that, then you can add something else, and you can add something else, and you can add something else. So you're having the experience of success as you grow and as you become more aligned with what it is that you ultimately want, that high standard that you have for yourself. So It is looking at it as information, not as failure. It's taking out the guilt and not looking at yourself as failure and looking at this as information and responding to your attempts, augmenting as necessary, and keep going along the path, not giving up. Don't throw the towel in. The second obstacle is getting disconnected from what it is that you actually want. So when most people come to me, they are in a place of exhaustion. They're sick of being tired. They're sick of being sick. They're sick of being depressed. They're sick of their skin condition, their digestive issue, their, autoimmune issue, whatever it is, and they're ready. They're open, they're receptive, and they're ready to change. Give them, a lifestyle program, and, that is very interesting to most of us. It's something new, it's something exciting, and that keeps you inspired for a little while. But inevitably, resistance happens. So resistance is the opposite pull, that is like constantly tugging at us, to stay the same and to resist change, even though the sameness is hurting, even though the relationship is not fulfilling, even though the diet is keeping us overweight, whatever it is, it's familiar, it's the same. The yogis have written about this for thousands and thousands of years, and it's talked and called the ego. So the ego is a part of our identity, but it's not a part of our soul or our spiritual identity. It's sort of this personality expression of who we are. It can be used as a tool. It's important for us to use it. But if we don't know how to use it to our advantage, then it can be working at our disadvantage. And so it holds on to familiarity. And we're constantly, recreating and restructuring our familiar reality. And so the ego death, allowing ourselves to change and become anew, is very important in spiritual practice, but also just like, practically as far as real life goes. When we want to change our diet, it's to allow ourselves to change and step into the unknown and step into the new. So one powerful way to help foster change is to stick very closely connected to what it is that you actually want. And resistance takes its hold of us completely when we disconnect from what it is that we want. We give our attention, we give our power to what we put our attention on. And so if you're always putting your attention on what you don't want, I don't want to be sick, I don't want to be, I have no willpower, I have no control, oh my God, look at me, I'm so fat, I hate this job, I don't like this person, I don't want to talk to this client today, I don't want to do this task today. That is what you're giving your attention, and most people live from that place, so you're giving all of that your attention. So in your energy and your power, if you flip that and you look at what it is that you do want, I want to be healthy, I want to enjoy what I eat, I want to love my food, I want to feed myself good things, I want to enjoy my relationships, I want to feel inspired by my work, I want to have a supportive community, I want to have good friends, I want to, feel good, whatever it is that you do want, then you give that energy, focus, awareness, and you give that power. People have been talking about this all over the place for thousands of years in every single sphere of success or wellness or health and well-being. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, Joe Dispenza's work, Wayne Dyer, Power of Intention. People who are successful know how powerful staying connected to using what you want as the guiding light. Too many of us use what we don't want as the guiding light in our life, and then that becomes where we're navigating in our boat. So you have to stay connected to what you want. If that's every single day, if that's every morning, if that's how you start, if that's the one lifestyle practice you initiate, that's the most important thing. And so people lose themselves in the process of change and going towards their goal when they lose focus of where they want to go. And so, these are lifestyle practices that are, choosing lifestyle practices that are supportive to where it is that you want to go is the ultimate thing, but you have to stay connected to what you want in order to do that. Lastly, the third obstacle to change, and many of my clients have, kind of overcome this by the time that they work with me, but is to use mentorship, is to utilize the skill set of somebody who is more experienced than you to help you to get out of this. It is amazing that we have access to all the knowledge and information that we have. I mean, we could practically learn how to do brain surgery through YouTube, but if you have some kind of an imbalance, a disorder, a disease, and you want to get better, and it's dependent on you changing your lifestyle, then you definitely don't want to make your imbalance your hobby in this life. There are many other things that are much more interesting than you being sick that you could put your awareness and your attention on. And that by being fully healthy, you could focus on more. And maybe you being sick is part of that resistance, you know, that's keeping you, you know, part of that cycle of resistance when you could be, you know, focusing that awareness and that attention on something else, you know, that's much more fruitful and full for you in your life. You know, maybe you're an artist, maybe you have your own business, you know, maybe you're a mom, you know, whatever it is, and that you could be more present fully for if you were completely healthy. And being sick is part of that old egoic identity that if you use it as a hobby is only constantly reaffirming that old identity which you're saying you want to change. So utilizing the skill set of somebody that can help you get up the mountain, that's been up and down it thousands of times, that can help you to identify the pitfalls so that you avoid them, so that knows which herbs, knows which dietary practices, knows how to strategize with you, knows how to call you out on your bullshit, can be very, very helpful for you to implementing the changes that would be nutritive for you in your life. Okay. If you're interested in working with me, then I always start with a free consultation. And so in the free consultation, my promise to you is to tell you what it is that I believe is the root cause of your issue. That's of immense value. People pay for that, and I give it away for free. These consultations are for free, but they are not for everyone. You have to be suffering from some kind of a lifestyle-related imbalance, and that could be a digestive issue, that could be excess weight, that could be anxiety and depression, that could be a skin disorder. So that using lifestyle, dietary practices, herbs, and everything will help to drive those things into remission or eliminate them completely. And the disorders that I spoke of are within my wheelhouse. Although I'd love to be able to say hi to everyone, please don't book a consultation with me to say hello, to ask me about my profession and ask me for professional advice and career advice. That's not what I'm doing these consultations for. You have to be suffering from a weight issue, a skin disorder, a digestive issue, anxiety and depression. If you would like to apply for one, follow the link below. You can receive more information that way. If you have any questions, you can post them below. Again, please subscribe to my channel. I hope that this information aids you on your path, and thank you so much for joining me today.